of the sons of Aditi, known as the Adityas, the Lord appeared as the youngest son of Aditi. And because he surpassed all the planets of the universe, he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. On the pretense of asking for a measurement of 3 footsteps of land, he took away all the lands of Bali Maharaj. He asked simply because, without begging, no authority can take one's rightful possession. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. The history of Bali Maharaj and his charity to Vamana Deva is described in the 8th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. Bali Maharaj conquered all the planets of the universe by rightful possession. A king can conquer other kings by strength, and such possession is considered to be rightful. So Bali Maharaj possessed all the lands of the universe, and he happened to be charitably disposed toward the Brahmanas. The Lord therefore pretended to be a beggar Brahmana, and he asked Bali Maharaj for a measurement of 3 footsteps of land. The Lord, as the proprietor of everything, could take from Bali Maharaj all the land he possessed, but he did not do so, because Bali Maharaj possessed all those lands by king's rights. When Bali Maharaj was asked by Lord Vamana for such small charity, Bali Maharaj's spiritual master, namely Shukracharya, objected to this proposal because he knew that Vaman Dev was Vishnu himself pretending to be a beggar. Bali Maharaj did not agree to abide by the order of his spiritual master when he understood that the beggar was Vishnu himself. And he at once agreed to give him in charity the land requested. By this agreement, Lord Vamana covered all the lands of the universe with his first 2 steps, and then asked Bali Maharaj where to place the 3rd step. Bali Maharaj was very glad to receive the Lord's remaining step upon his head, and thus Bali Maharaj, instead of losing everything he possessed, was blessed by the Lord's becoming his constant companion and doorman. So, by giving everything to the cause of the Lord, one does not lose anything, but he gains everything that he could never otherwise expect. In that sense, the Bhaktivedanta purport. Om Jnanatimmirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So today is the most auspicious appearance day of Lord Vamana, Vamana Dwadashi. And it is a state festival in Kerala. It's called Onam. So, this appearance of the Supreme Lord in his incarnation as Vamana is extraordinary incarnation. And generally the Lord appears Paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya cha dushkritam. Dharma samsthapanartha. So he appears for protecting his devotees, for killing the miscreants, the asuras, the demons. But here, in this incarnation as Vamana, he appeared for the sake of favoring two of his devotees who somehow were rivals. Two devotees became rivals, Indra and Bali Maharaj. Indra is the king of the Devatas. Was the king of the Devatas. Vamdeva appeared. And Bali Maharaj was the king of the Asuras. So, Indra was ruling the heavenly planets, and Bali Maharaj challenged him and defeated him and took possession of the heavenly planets. And Bali Maharaj became the emperor of the three worlds. And therefore it is described here by Lord Brahma that the appearance of the Lord as Vamana extraordinary, because he apparently took birth as son of Aditi. The sons of Aditi are the 12 Adityas. 12 Adityas. Now, among these 12 Adityas, the youngest one is Vamana. Youngest one is Vamana. And he appeared as the younger brother of Indra. And why did he appear as the younger brother of Indra? Because Aditi, after Bali Maharaj conquered the heavenly planets, defeated Indra, then Aditi, the mother of Indra, became very, very sad, very unhappy, naturally. My son has been defeated. So she prayed to Vishnu on the instruction of her husband, Kashyapa Muni. And she asked Vishnu that my son has lost his kingdom. Kindly restore his kingdom to him. So the Lord not only agreed to do so, but he also said, to do this, I will appear as your own son. So Aditi was overjoyed. The Lord is appearing as my son to bless me, to favor me. So then the Lord, of course, appeared from the womb of Aditi as Vamana. And his appearance also is extraordinary. As soon as he appeared, he immediately, of course, he appeared as a small child, came out of the womb, but immediately appeared a form of a dwarf brahmachari. Vamana means one who is very, very short. So he looked like a brahmachari, but actually he was a very short brahmana. And then both his parents, Aditi and Kashyapa, and all the associate brahmanas, rishis, and the devatas, they were all overjoyed. The Lord has appeared as Aditi's son, Aditi and Kashyapa's son. And to celebrate his appearance, they're wondering, how can they celebrate? Normally a child is born, then the birth of the child is jata karma, namakarana, such things. But this child has appeared and transformed into a small young Brahmana. But then he looked like a brahmachari, of the age of a brahmachari. So Aditi and Kashyapa decided to perform his Upanayana, sacred thread ceremony. So in that sacred thread ceremony, that's another extraordinary sacred thread ceremony, in which normally in that ceremony, the brahmachari is preparing himself to go for studying the Vedas, Vedic education, to the house of the ashram of the spiritual master, the Gurukula. So before that, the parents, actually, Brahmana parents typically, will perform the Upanayana, samskara, and then send the son to the Gurukula for learning, for his education, Vedic education. So when they perform that sacred thread ceremony, in that sacred thread ceremony, generally the Gayatri mantra is instructed to the brahmachari. And Gayatri mantra involves worship of the sun god. So in the case of Vamana, the Supreme Lord, all the devatas, they want to actually get the blessings of the Lord when he's appeared in this wonderful incarnation. So while participating in the appearance festival of the Lord as son of Aditi and Kashyapa, the sun god himself gave the Gayatri mantra to this small brahmachari boy, Vamana. Now, the Gayatri mantra is meant for worship of the sun god. The sun god himself is coming and teaching or giving the Gayatri mantra to Vamana, to the Lord. So actually, it's just a pastime of the Lord. He doesn't require any Gayatri mantra. He doesn't require to even take birth. He doesn't require any purification by any samskara. So this is the extraordinary Leela of the Lord. Then the Durga Devi, she actually gave the first bhiksha. Durga Devi herself is Annapurna. As Annapurna, she is the goddess goddess in charge of providing grains to everybody. Okay? So, she is receiving that power from the Supreme Lord. But because the Lord had assumed the form of a brahmachari, and she is Annapurna, so she gave the first bhiksha to this brahmachari boy. And soon after this sacred thread ceremony was performed, right on the time of appearance of the Lord, he just walked away from home. Why did he walk away from home? That's what a brahmachari does. He goes away from home to the Gurukula. But Vamana did not go to any Gurukula. He went to the arena, this place where Bali Maharaj was performing sacrifices under the guidance of expert Brahmanas. Of course, Bali Maharaj was the emperor of the three worlds, but he also knew that to retain his wealth, he has to keep performing sacrifices and giving in charity. So, Bali Maharaj, as a very pious king, emperor, he was inclined to give a lot of charity to Brahmanas. So, he was performing a series of sacrifices. So, when Vamana appeared, the Lord appeared, he was performing a similar sacrifice. So, Vamana straight went to that sacrificial arena of Bali Maharaj, and he was just a small brahmachari. He was looking like a small brahmachari boy. So, brahmachari boy will not be taken note of when he goes to some sacrificial arena where very powerful, topmost brahmanas in the universe are actually engaged in performing sacrifices on behalf of Bali Maharaj, or instructing Bali Maharaj to perform sacrifices, chanting mantras perfectly so that his sacrifice is successful. But Vamanadeva, in order to draw everyone's attention, because he's Supreme Lord, he just displayed briefly a little of his Brahmajyoti effulgence. Seeing that Brahmajyoti effulgence, and that effulgence of this brahmachari, small brahmachari boy who's walking into that arena from a distance, all the brahmanas assembled there, all the saintly persons, including Bali Maharaj, everybody stood up in respect. Who's this brahmachari? Who's his personality? Dazzling effulgence. Now, what we are not aware in this present age is that every human being, depending on his performance of tapasya or performance of spiritual activities, develops a kind of bodily effulgence which they naturally display, especially a Brahmana, and more so the Devatas, the residents of the upper planets, by their pious activities, by their tapasya, sages, saintly persons, they display an aura. That's why when these painters paint the picture of some saintly person or some rishi, they show one aura around their face or around their head. That aura is a natural bodily effulgence of a saintly person because of his spiritual advancement, because of the tapasya, and consequently spiritually advancing. Now, depending on how much a person is advanced, more that person will have that aura. So, the Brahmanas present there already were very, very powerful Brahmanas. So, they all had aura. But when the Supreme Lord came into that arena, was walking towards that sacrificial arena, he briefly displayed his Brahman effulgence. And the Brahman effulgence is so dazzling, it surpasses the aura of everyone in this creation, including Lord Brahma. Who has the maximum aura in this whole creation among the created beings? It is Brahma. The maximum aura he has got. So, the aura of this Vamandev, it surpassed everyone else's aura. They all stood up in respect. Who's this personality? Then they began talking or discussing or speculating. Could it be one of the four Kumaras? Could it be one of the great sages? Bhrigu Rishi? or could it be one of the uh, uh, great tapasvis from somewhere in the Himalayas, who's done a lot of tapasya, who's not known to us? So like that, they began discussing amongst themselves. When Vamandev straight walked towards Bali Maharaj. And Bali Maharaj, because naturally he is a devotee, he could understand that actually it is the Supreme Lord who has come. But taking a humble position, he just welcomed this brahmachari and gave him a seat. And actually, as a Kshatriya, how he should actually show proper due respect to a Brahmana or a brahmachari. So he did the formality of washing his feet and giving him some argya, padya, achamana, everything, and then gave him a nice seat, and then began to glorify him. That I am blessed that you have come to my place, and I request you to ask for some dana, some charity. So the Lord, playing like the role of a small brahmachari, he said, he accepted, and the reception, and then he said, I just want 3 steps of land measured according to my footprint. A small boy, small feet, and he's asking 3 steps of land. So everybody was surprised. What is this brahmachari asking? So Bali Maharaj very politely, he responded by telling, certainly I can give you that donation or charity. But then I am the emperor of the 3 worlds. And you seem to be not so experienced because you're a very young brahmachari in asking for charity. I can give you an entire village. I can give you so much of gold or a beautiful girl for your marriage as your wife. I can give you so many things he offered. So kindly ask for something more. Kindly take something more. Then, because Vamana is the Supreme Lord, so he began to speak from the Shastras that in asking for charity or in taking charity, a Brahmana should never be greedy. Never be greedy. So, if at all he asks, he never asks. Actually, Brahmanas don't ask for charity. They are given charity, being recognized as a Brahmana who never has any profession to earn money for maintaining himself. He maintains himself by whatever bhiksha is given by people without his asking. So, he said, I am satisfied with the minimum. Or rather, he didn't say, I am satisfied. He said, I should be satisfied with the minimum requirement that is required for keeping my body and soul together. For my self-maintenance. So one should never ask for more. So then Bali Maharaj was impressed. Oh, here is a very enlightened and learned brahmachari. He is no ordinary brahmachari. He is enlightened. So be it. If you're satisfied with just 3 steps of life, take that. Okay. I am really impressed by your learning and your realization. Immediately, Shukracharya, who was actually watching the whole thing, Shukracharya recognized this brahmachari is actually Vishnu himself. And for what purpose has he come here? He has come for the sake of, on behalf of the Devatas. And he is going to take away everything that Bali Maharaj has got on the plea of begging for some land. Shukracharya could understand. So he intercepted Bali Maharaj, giving his assent. Of course, he agreed to give, but he was about to pour some water as a ritual, like, yes, I am giving you. So before he could pour that water, Shukracharya said, stop. So Bali Maharaj asked, what is the reason you are stopping me? Then he explained, this brahmachari is no ordinary brahmachari. He is actually coming on behalf of our enemies, the Devatas. He is Vishnu himself. He has come to take away all your lands. He is going to make you a pauper. So be careful. And then there was a long conversation between Bali Maharaj and Shukracharya. And then Shukracharya justified that even though Bali Maharaj had agreed, he quoted even the Shastras. When one agrees to give charity, one cannot go back on one's words after having agreed to give charity to a Brahmana, except when such charity is going to lead to a cheating. So, Shukracharya explained to Bali Maharaj that he is asking you for 3 steps of land. You can understand that there is something very peculiar about such dana. Nobody asks for 3 steps of land, that too with small steps measured like that. What is the use of such land? What is the value of such land? Why would somebody ask land like that? So then he said he is going to take away all your possessions on the plea of taking 3 steps of land. Going to take away everything. So don't be mistaken that he has come to actually favor the Devatas, our enemies, and take away everything that you possess. So in self-preservation, in protecting oneself, one can actually take back a promise that is given. So he quoted one Samhita, the original Vedas, and he justified Bali Maharaj taking back his promise and not giving the 3 steps of land. But Bali Maharaj, on the other hand, because he is a devotee, he said, oh, Vishnu has come. As if he did not know, he knew it actually. But still, respecting Shukracharya's as a well-wisher, Shukracharya is trying to protect his disciple. As the advisor Brahmana, he is protecting the Kshatriya king. So he accepted that, yes, you mean well when you're telling me don't go back you can go back on the promise because you're going to lose everything. But if it is Vishnu who has come, disguised as a brahmachari, and I thinking he's a brahmachari, I have promised him. So what is wrong in giving to Vishnu? In fact, what Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Yat karosi yad ashnasi yad juhoshi dadasiyat tat kurushva madarpanam. Whatever charity you want to give, the best thing is to give to me. The best charity you can give is to give to me. And how much charity you should give to me? As much as you can give. As much as you can give. So, Bali Maharaj justified his actually giving that promised charity to Vamandev, saying that Vishnu should be given everything. And by giving to Vishnu, nobody is a loser. By giving to Vishnu, nobody is a loser. As Prabhupada says in this purport, that the conclusion of the purport, by giving everything to the cause of the Lord, one does not lose anything, but he gains everything that he could never otherwise expect. So as far as Vamana is concerned, he is the Supreme Lord. But then he has appeared on the request of, or the prayer by Aditi. So he's come to favor Aditi. And what favor does Aditi want? Specifically, she wants Indra, her son, his kingdom to be restored, which he has lost. So he's come to, actually both Bali and Indra are both his devotees. Indra is also the Lord's devotee. Bali Maharaj also is Lord's devotee. So when the Lord comes to settle some kind of, misunderstanding or some kind of quarrel between two devotees, two brothers. Let's say Father Prabhupada explains this. Let's say father has got two sons, and he is taking care of both the younger son and the older son nicely. But there is some quarrel, and the younger son is asking something which the elder son has got. So the father tries to pacify the younger son, but cannot pacify him. Tells the older brother, give it to him, whatever you have. Even though it's yours, I've given you, give it to your younger brother. He's crying. He's after all a small boy. So Prabhupada says that in this spirit, he actually decided to take away Bali Maharaj, whatever he had, and give it to Indra. But then, again, when he's taken away everything from Bali Maharaj will become totally, literally, he is becoming a pauper. But the Lord, after taking away, is not going to leave his devotee as a pauper. On the other hand, he is going to bless him with immense amount of wealth, which nobody can even imagine. So he took away the heavenly kingdom, and apparently he took away the whole universe. But actually that was externally he did that. Because Bali Maharaj actually was the emperor of the three worlds, and Indra wanted to be reinstated as the emperor of the three worlds. Therefore, and because Bali Maharaj had rightfully become the emperor by defeating Indra, a king can challenge other king and actually defeat him and become the possessor of the entire property of the defeated king. So his rightful claim. So he cannot take except by only one method. What is that? By begging. Voluntarily, if he gives, he can take. So by begging, he is asking, can you give me this charity? So if he agrees to give the charity, he can take away. So the Lord is performing his Leela, because he is Supreme Lord, and he is also trying to settle some kind of misunderstanding between two of his devotees. So he took away by expanding himself and covering the entire upper planetary system and the middle and lower by 2 steps. The first step he placed on the earth planet itself by growing to a huge proportion. Actually, he was displaying his universal form by expanding himself. So, universal form is the whole universe is the form of the Lord, or his proportion is such that as the universal form, bigger than the biggest. In the Vedas, it is described the supreme absolute truth is Anoraniyan Mahato Mahiyan. Mahato Mahiyan means he is bigger than the biggest. So different personalities in different planets have different proportions of their body according to their position. But the Lord, in his universal form, he is bigger than the biggest personality in the whole universe. So, when he displayed his universal form as Vamana, not Vamana, Trivikrama, because he covered the entire middle and lower planetary systems with one step. And with the second step, he actually covered the remaining upper portion of the universe. How much did he cover? He pierced the coverings of the universe, the 7 coverings. Means he covered all the remaining planets above the earth by placing his first step on the earth itself, and he had expanded to such a degree, such an extent, that foot covered everything earth and below. Everything earth and below. So, he covered all the middle and lower planets by that one step, first step. Second step, he raised his other foot and he actually penetrated the covering of the universe. Means up to Brahmaloka, everything he covered, the second step. And what happened? Something extraordinary happened when he tried to measure the second step by raising his foot. And then his toe pierced the coverings of the universe. This is a Leela of the Lord. These coverings of the universe, how thick are they? The first covering is the covering of the earth element. And it is 10 times the thickness of the diameter of the whole universe. In the Bhagavatam it is described, the diameter of the universe is 4 billion miles. And the thickness of the first covering will be therefore 40 billion miles. It is 10 times the size of the universe, the first covering itself. Like that, there are 7 coverings. Each covering is 10 times thicker than the previous covering. So, the Bhagavatam describes in the 5th canto, Shukadeva Goswami describes this whole universe consisting of millions of planets, each planet having millions of living entities. Within the coverings of the universe, the entire universe itself is like a small mustard seed. It's very, very insignificant in size compared to the coverings. So the Lord, by just extending his foot, is making a small hole in the surface of the first covering. But what was the extent to which he penetrated that covering? Not only penetrated the first covering, 10 times the size of the universe itself, but it pierced all the coverings of the universe, and all these universes are floating. Another place, the description is all these universes are floating in the causal ocean, in the Karana Jala, where Mahavishnu is lying down, in the Karana ocean. Karana Udaka, Shai, he is lying down. So, that water in that causal ocean is the perspiration of Mahavishnu. So, it's spiritual water. So, when this toe of Vamana pierced the 7 coverings, then there was a hole formed in the coverings of the universe. And the water from the causal ocean leaked into this universe. And that water became the river Ganga. So the water itself is spiritual. It's after all the perspiration of Mahavishnu. It's spiritual water. But as it came into this universe, it washed the foot of Vishnu. Therefore, the Ganges is called Vishnu Padodaka. Water that has washed the foot of Vishnu. Vishnu in which form? As Vamana. Incarnation of Vamana. Vamandev. So this Ganga, river Ganga, appeared as the Vishnu Padodaka when the Lord performed this particular Leela in his incarnation as Vamana. And that water, the Lord made that, arranged that water flows through all, as river Ganga is the only river that flows through all the planets of the entire universe. Why? Because throughout the universe there are so many living beings. And because they are inclined to perform only material activities for sense gratification, all of them are constantly engaged in performing sinful activities. Here, sinful activities means it includes both pious and sinful activities, punya and papa. But it's all the activities, material activities are called sinful in one sense, that all of them are going to give reactions. And those reactions are the cause of our bondage in material existence. Consequently, we have to suffer the material miseries. Whether we are situated in the upper planets, or the middle planets, or the lower planets, in any case, all the living entities in all the planets are taking birth in this material world because of their reactions. And those reactions are given to them for their so-called enjoyment or for punishment in terms of suffering. But whether it is enjoyment or suffering, enjoyment also is suffering in terms of material bondage. They are bound up by the body they take, whether it's the body of Brahma or the body of an insignificant ant. All of the created beings have got a material body through which they have to experience 4 fundamental miseries. Janma, Mrityu, Jara, Vyadhi, Dukkha, Dosha, Anudarshanam. Krishna explains this in the Bhagavad Gita, the 13th chapter. That every living being, every created being, including Brahma, has to suffer these 4 fundamental miseries, having accepted a material body, having taken birth in this material world. So, in order to free these suffering living entities who are his own part and parcel, Mamaivamsho Jiva Loke Jiva Bhuta Sanata. So, the Lord has made this arrangement merely by coming in contact with this most holy water of the river Ganga, which flows through all the planets in this whole universe. Anybody who comes in touch with this water, instantaneously all their reactions are completely purified. They are nullified of all their reactions. But our misfortune is, we are so determined to enjoy in this world that even if we are freed from all our sinful reactions at least, we don't give up this business or habit of sinning and sinning and sinning and sinning and sinning. See, even though people go to Ganga to take bath, and at least those in the Vedic culture know, moment you take bath in the Ganga, all your sins are completely washed away. You become completely purified. No more sinful reactions. But then as soon as they come out, it is like elephant bath. What is elephant bath? Elephant goes to a huge reservoir of water because it has got a huge body. So to thoroughly cleanse itself, have a proper bath, a nice bath, a refreshing bath, it is to search for a huge reservoir of water. And then when it finds, it is overjoyed. It will nicely enter the water and splash a lot of water on its body, huge body, and cleanse itself thoroughly. An elephant taking bath, it is not a small thing. And then after the bath, it comes out and it's got a very bad habit. What is that? It will sprinkle dirt all over its body. It has just taken a bath and come out, thoroughly cleansed, it will nicely sprinkle dirt all over its body. So this in the scriptures is called Kunjara Shauchavat. In the Bhagavatam itself, 6th canto, Shukadeva Swami describes. Those who are engaged in performing pious activities, punya karma, for becoming free from sinful reactions. Yes, if they perform the prescribed atonement in terms of performing some yajna or some dana or some tapasya, yajna, dana, tapa. These are 3 standard ways of atoning for sinful reactions of the past. So then they become purified. Yes, that sinful reaction is nullified. But then, just like elephant takes a bath, and then what does it do? Sprinkle again dirt over its body. It again becomes dirty. Similarly, these fruitive workers, these karmis, we say karmis, that's what the scriptures describe them as. They perform more pious activities after finishing the atonement for getting more material enjoyment. That means they're again, reactions are gone, then they say, I want more reactions. More reactions. So, this way, they foolishly remain entangled in this material world in spite of, even if they take bath in the Ganga. So therefore, when chanting Hare Krishna, of course, chanting Hare Krishna can completely purify us of all our reactions. But then after chanting Hare Krishna, if you don't become free from material desires, if you don't give up your material aspirations, then your chanting of Hare Krishna is not going to free you from reactions totally. Even though the old reactions are gone, by again desiring some more material enjoyment, some more material possessions, some more material desires to be fulfilled, you are again bringing back reactions to yourself. You are again sprinkling dirt on your body after having cleansed it. So that's why in chanting Hare Krishna, it is described as an offense to not have complete faith in chanting Hare Krishna and to actually maintain material attachments. Maintain material attachment in spite of understanding so many instructions in this matter. It's an offense. It's an offense against the holy name. So because of which, even if one chants very nicely, of course, chanting does always purify us of past sins, definitely. But then, we will not get ultimate liberation by such purification. As long as we have any tinge of material attachment or any tinge of material desire, or any desire for material enjoyment, or any plan to remain in this material world, but no plans for getting out and never coming back. If you don't have any such desire or plans, you can never get out of this material existence. For the simple reason, for Krishna to fulfill your material desires, you have to be in the material world. Because neither there is facility for material desires to be fulfilled in the spiritual world, Krishna's abode, personal abode, nor is there any such person there who has got material desires for enjoyment. No. Why would they have material desires? When they are enjoying spiritually, spiritual transcendental bliss. And what is the comparison? Spiritual happiness is compared in the scriptures. An ocean of material happiness cannot compare with one small drop of spiritual happiness. This is a comparison. So which fool will give up even a drop of spiritual happiness, even a drop of spiritual happiness, in exchange for an ocean of material happiness? So therefore, it's only in ignorance that somebody will desire to advance spiritually, to get liberation from all material bondage. At the same time, maintain material desires, desire material enjoyment. You see, Bali Maharaj is teaching us, when he agreed to give, he knew, yes, I'm going to lose everything. But he also knew the Lord will take away everything and not leave me high and dry. No. He is going to bless me with something much, much millions of times greater. And the Lord proved. What did he give Bali Maharaj? He took away everything. But he gave Bali Maharaj Sutala Loka. Again, the Lord has become now the Lord of all the three worlds by taking away from Bali Maharaj. Now, Sutala Loka also belongs to him because he's taken away from Bali Maharaj by asking in charity. So, he decided to give Sutala Loka. You take Sutala Loka. Now, Sutala Loka is one of the lower planets. That means its opulence is much lower than the opulence available on the earth planet. And certainly it is very, very less compared to the opulence on the upper planets. So why did he give Bali Maharaj Sutala Loka? Less opulences than all the other planets. He could have given Brahma Loka, could have given Swarga Loka. Any planet he could have given. No, he gave Sutala Loka because he personally is going to be present in Sutala Loka as the doorkeeper of Bali Maharaj's kingdom. As the doorkeeper of Bali Maharaj's kingdom. If the doorkeeper of Bali Maharaj, the king of Sutala Loka, is the Supreme Lord himself, the doorkeeper, then the king, his doorkeeper is having some wealth. Okay? A palace, let's say palace guard, who's guarding that main door of the palace. He is the palace doorkeeper, no. So his position will be some special position. He's not like an ordinary doorkeeper, correct? So the king will give him nice dress, nice place to stay in the palace somewhere, in the palace region, and he will have nice salary. He will not be having a niggardly salary, correct? So if the doorkeeper of the Sutala Loka, of the entrance to Sutala Loka, is the Supreme Lord himself, then the king of Sutala Loka, how much more opulence he will have. So the Lord made Sutala Loka supremely opulent before giving Bali Maharaj Sutala Loka. And to protect Bali Maharaj, he said, I'll be your doorkeeper. Because when somebody becomes very, very opulent, supremely opulent, everybody else on the upper planets and other planets will try to attack him. And in case he loses, when they attack, all this opulence is lost. So don't worry. I personally will guard these opulences, having given you the opulences. Nobody can do anything to you. I'll personally protect your opulences after having given it. So this is the Lord's blessing for Bali Maharaj. Apparently, in the eyes of the materialists, Bali Maharaj miserably lost whatever he had gained by defeating Indra. He lost everything. And Indra, he became the reinstated as the emperor of the three worlds, especially the king of the heavenly planets. But actually, Indra was the real loser. Indra got some material assets. These material assets are like useless. Because nobody can have these material assets forever. They're all temporary. Even if the material assets outlive the actual person, still, when the person dies, he cannot take his material assets with him to his next life. He has to leave behind. Correct? Whereas Bali Maharaj was blessed with spiritual assets. And spiritual assets can never be compared with material assets. So Lord has given him incomparable assets. And not only he has given him his incomparable assets, he himself has become the servant of his devotee to protect him, to favor him. I personally am going to protect you. So, that is the greatness of the Supreme Lord. If he is great, he is supremely great. Somebody gives you some wealth. Now, they cannot assure you, I can protect your wealth in such a way that you will never lose this wealth. Nobody can give that protection. If at all somebody can give you such a protection, it's only the Supreme Lord. So the Supreme Lord personally became the protector of Bali's wealth, Bali's position, Bali's power, everything. Don't worry, nobody is going to displace you by defeating you. Indra was displayed because Bali Maharaj defeated Indra. Now Bali was defeated because this Supreme Lord came disguised as a brahmachari and asked for charity and took away everything. But nobody will be able to actually take away your wealth, the Sutala Loka. So this way, Prabhupada concludes by telling, by giving everything to the cause of the Lord, one does not lose anything. But he gains everything that he could never otherwise expect. So beyond our expectations, Lord will reward us. So therefore, Krishna says, Yat karoshi yadashnasi yad juhoshi dadasiyat yat tapasyasi kaunteya tat kurushva madarpanam. Therefore, give to me in charity. Okay, I'll stop here. Nantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Vamanadev ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.